If you are looking for an understanding of how to work and how to rest during the coronavirus pandemic and shelter-in-place orders, then keep listening. So what we're going to be getting into is how to understand a balance of work and rest during times like these. So during COVID-19, coronavirus, pandemics, sheltering in place, let's look at where we were at before so we can have an understanding of where we're going to in the future. Okay, so our situation before the virus was that of an unbalanced state of work and rest. So work is the domain of space, and it's that which multiplies a principle, it builds. And rest is part of the domain of time, the cyclical change and transformative forces of the universe. So our pre-pandemic state was that of excessive work. Would you agree? We're overworked, we're burnt out. It's like an overstuffed closet in need of some spring cleaning. Also, it's that of under-resting. I think of my 2-year-old as an example, where she's fighting nap time, and that can lead to her energy tanking, burnout, and overtaken by crankiness. And this evil tantrum attacks the peace of the whole household. So historically, if we look at the nation of Israel, there was a time when they overlooked their Sabbath, or what they called their weekly and seasonal resting times. And this guy named Jeremiah, he professes metanoia, or this returning to the proper work-rest balance. In this case, the ratio of 6-to-1, or 6 working days and 1 rest day. Or else, a forced rest would come upon them, Jeremiah says, aka captivity. So what happens? The Israelites rested all right. Babylon sacked Jerusalem and drugged the people and their wealth to a foreign land. And Jeremiah's advice at this point was to rest in captivity. And what we see at the end of the book of 2 Chronicles is that Israel rested in captivity 70 years. Exactly 1 year for every unobserved rest. Okay, so a modern example of this taking place would be that of the overworked sales agent. And I read a story about one that worked 16 hours a day, at least, all days of the week. And eventually, of course, that led to a collapse of her adrenal glands. And so instead of spending a day at the end of the week or a proper amount of hours at the end of the day, so she spent her rest and wealth in captivity of sorts in the foreign land of a hospital room. So here's the point. You can only fill a ship with so much cargo before it topsides. You can intentionally clean up and lighten the load so that way the vessel and the abyss creates this equilibrium. Or you could just topside and lose the majority of your cargo. Either way, the cargo will get cleaned up and the work-rest balance will be restored, either intentionally or catastrophically. Better to honor the balance of work, rest, and time and space. We are closing the season of Lent in the Christian world. So Lent would be this 40 days of rest, of fasting and prayer that's following the story of Jesus in the wilderness. And it leads up to this climax of the season and of the year of Resurrection Sunday. Okay, so it's a time where we fast the busyness, we fast the hurriness and the work, and we make room for the rest of prayer and contemplation, and it's really a time for a spiritual cleanse, if you will, or a rejuvenation of the soul and of the mind and the body. So it's the proverbial spring cleaning for our being, and it allows us to begin the new year of work afresh. So this shelter-in-place order that we've been in is a type of global Lent. So welcome to Lent, everybody. We don't have much food due to the fasting. Perhaps we've overlooked our Sabbaths. Could be. Maybe it's a course correction, a forced rest that's upon us. This first shelter-in-place order just so happens to be taking place during the exact period of Lent, at least for the Western church calendar. Today, April 10th, 2020, is Good Friday, and it marks the end of the first shelter-in-place order that was given out, at least in my world in Northern California. We take this day this year to to recognize the crucifixion of Christ. Is this a coincidence? Is it intentional? I don't know, but hey, symbolism happens. So now what? So in the Christian calendar, we use this time positively to rest and rejuvenate and complete the end of this yearly cycle, allowing us to resurrect, if you will, and work another year afresh. Yet, we received an extension for this global Lent, upholding the shelter-in-place order until May 3rd. So the question comes, what will result now that this global Lent has been extended past the 40 days? And that, I would say, would be an excess of rest. Now, a world dominated by the vicissitudes of time concerns us. I mean, look at the body. Too much rest, right? Too much inactivity leads to what? Atrophy. And then excess of rest in society can lead to unrest and chaos. So it's like floating in a SeaWorld rather than building on dry land. There's only so long work can be dominated by rest before the balance is corrected, either proactively with positive results or catastrophically with negative ones. I would say watch out for work and space to retaliate in the form of extreme order or a tyrannical government or organized rebellion, something like that. Okay, to wrap this up, I hope you've seen that the work and rest balance is inevitable. We will work and we will rest. Also, I want to caution you to be aware, be mindful of excessive work as well as excessive rest. So where does that leave us? I would encourage you to take this time to rest and work well. In place of Netflix binging, rejuvenate, pray, contemplate, have meaningful conversations, have time set aside for remembrance. Pray for your leaders as well to make the decision we voted them to make, or at least for those listening who live in a free society, that is. Work and be productive in your household. Focus on making it the best life-giving habitation you can for those that are not allowed to work in their normal workplace. Ultimately, just do what you can do. Honor the work-rest balance in your life and in your household and in your oikos, or the sphere of influence. In many ways, it starts with you and it starts with us. For further viewing or listening on this topic, I would encourage you to hop on over to the Paul Vanderklay channel. He's been doing an awesome job daily and weekly covering the pandemic and what's happening and digging into the meaning of what's happening and trying to understand and explain what's going on. I've really been enjoying that, as well as Jonathan Peugeot. So they've been doing some good work, and I would encourage you to go check them out too. Upcoming, I'm working on interpretations of the Arrival film, the sci-fi movie that came out about 5 years ago, as well as 2 conversations with some very dear friends of mine that have some interesting things to say in times like these. So that is all for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Please click the subscribe button if you want to be notified of future videos, as well as click the like button if you like this content. Leave a comment in the section below. I love your questions and stories and further insights. It's really helping me in my learning. If you'd like to support this work, view the links in the description below. There's gear list, book wish list, research wish list on Amazon, and also one on thriftbooks.com that really help further the work that we're doing here. And lastly, there's a PayPal link that you could just send me money straight up and trust me to invest in the gear and the things necessary to make this work better. Okay, that's all for now, guys. Until next time.